Hope you're well out there and staying safe. The world is starting to get a little bit of a strange place at the moment, so we all have to take a little care. Anyway, none of that. I am not into politics, so this week, or this video, I'm going to try and finish that platter that I started. And that platter that uses the part sheet I made a little while back and these little strips. If you haven't seen part one, probably a good idea to go and have a look at it. I'll try and remember to put a link up there for you. And in that, I show you how I cut all these little strips up out of the pattern bar. So this week, I'm going to continue that, prepare them, fuse it all together, slump it into a final piece. So without any mucking around, let's get into that. And as usual, it's dealing with the materials, any special equipment. What's the other thing? Design. Okay, first thing I want to do is remind you about the design. I did talk about this last week, but I'll just go over it once again. It's going to be roughly a square piece. It is going to be slumped into this mold. This is my favorite mold, which gives it just a very shallow curve there. And we're going to use the part sheet in this way. I've cut it all into strips, and this is a rolled edge, the normal rolled edge, and I'm going to alternate that part sheet piece with plain white, and that's opaque white. There'll be a dividing strip through here to give us some sort of a border. So that's the basic design. Now the materials are all Bullseye 90 COE. This is opaque white, which is 0013, and this is royal blue, which is 1114. This is 3mm glass here, and I'll also be using some clear glass as well. As far as equipment is concerned, you're going to need something to grind all of these little strips and get them all uniform. I'll be using a little glass star grinder and probably my flat lap to make them all nice flat. And I'll be grinding the end, this particular end here, just to make sure it's nice and square. You will also need, obviously, your mold, whatever you're going to be using for a mold. And I am going to be cutting this on my ring saw, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Now don't forget, stay safe. Make sure you wear your mask whenever necessary, and your safety glasses, and yeah, just generally stay safe. Glass cuts really bad, and glass on the lungs, as in silica, is not a great thing to have. Now, just before I get on to grinding all these, I just want to talk about this white and the cutting of it. This is a rolled edge and opaque white, and I found that opaque white is a little notorious for splitting. So I'm going to try and score this, and hopefully it will all separate nicely when I snap it, but it does have the potential to sort of break halfway if I don't get a good score. I was going to cut it on my ring saw, but I probably won't cut it nice and straight, and I'll end up grinding it anyway. So when I get to cutting that may be interesting, but all the cuts this way will definitely be done on the ring saw. And the reason I'm going to do it that way is that I can't just cut it and then insert one of these pieces. I've actually got to cut a piece out, because if I cut it and insert it, I'll try and explain. If I cut it and just insert it, say on this curve here, or this slope here, when I insert it, I'm going to end up with one piece that's higher than the other. And, or I should say, no, I'm not going to end up with one piece. I'm going to end up with the two pieces at exactly the same height and a flat in between. I don't want that. I want this to sort of follow the curve. So what I've got to do is cut a piece out for this to go in, and then shape this to follow the curve. So that's why I'm going to do it on the ring saw. It's a lot safer. Rolled edges don't snap nice and easily. They tend to sort of chip and do all sorts of things. So that's what I'm going to do as far as the cutting is concerned. But now I'll get into and we'll grind up all of these little pieces, make sure they're all uniform so that we can make our final decision about the width of all these. Finally, it's all done. A lot of cutting, a lot of grinding. I've been at it for many hours, but finally it's done. Now, this is upside down, so all the top on here is clear. I have cut all the little strips to go in between everything here. I've got my strip across here, got the raw blue underneath, and the only thing that worries me about the whole thing is that there's going to be joins here where their strip is, and I'm a little worried that they may show up both on the white and on the clear. But look, we won't know about that until it's all fused together, and even then I can do a bit of cold work into it, sandblast it, put it back in the kiln and do a fire polish to it, and if there is anything there, hopefully it'll disappear. So now I've just got to clean all this up. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, so I've got to clean it all up, get it onto a shelf and into the kiln, and we'll do a full fuse. But I will watch it so that I don't get too much of this rough edge here, or rolled edge here, smoothing out all over the place. I want to try and keep that profile as much as possible. Okay, it is the next morning and it's all fused, as you can see. Now this is the top, which is actually going to be the bottom, so that's the top as it was fused. Interestingly, I don't know whether you'll be able to see that on the video, but there's a 3D effect where the pattern bar pieces come up through the clear, but you may not be able to pick that up. A couple of little bubbles there, they're not a problem, and there are bubbles in the blue, which actually I quite like. We can see a line through there, but considering that's going to be the bottom, I'm not too worried about that. We've kept our contour through here. We do need some cold working on the edges. Of course, that edge there that wasn't dammed is fine. Now this is going to be our top, and that's the way I see it anyway. That's worked out nicely, except of course it's a bit matte, don't have a nice polish on it. And the good thing about it is we can't really see any line in the opaque white there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of cold working on these edges. Then I am going to clean it all up, sprinkle some clear frit over the top. Not going to sandblast it, I think we'll be right. Of course it's mainly transparent, I don't expect to get anything much in the way of devet. I'm just going to put a thin layer of clear over the top of that, and then we'll fuse it again. And, excuse me, and round these edges down onto the shelf. And then we'll be ready for the slump. Okay, the end result here is an example of why I would not typically just cover this with clear frit and refire. I have not had a great deal of success with that, but I tried it again and regret it. So I'll try and show you why. Now there may be a fix for this that I don't know about, so if anybody knows it, I'd love to hear it. And hopefully you can see it. It's like there's almost a layer of dust on here. And over here, I think you can see it, there's like a little cloudy spot. And over the rest of it, there's like a layer of dust. Hopefully you can see that. And what that is, I don't really know. I think it may be very small bubbles. I've tried a number of things with this. Doing this, every now and then it does work. This here, you would probably tend to think that it should have been fired hotter or longer or something like that. That went up to 805, and I think I held that for about 10-15 minutes. So to me, it should have been hot enough and long enough. But it hasn't worked out. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to sandblast this. I will then fire polish it, and then I'll slump it. So because I'll fire polish it because I don't want a satin finish. I want a nice gloss finish. I'm not going to get that done this week, unfortunately for you. So what I'm going to do is publish what I have already. And when I do the rest of it, I'll put that out as another little video as well. Well, that's it for this week. Let me know in the comments any suggestions on fixing this or anything else. Glad to answer any questions. Don't forget there'll be a couple of suggested videos at the top, and the subscribe button will be right in the middle. Turn on your notifications, and until the next video, which hopefully won't be far away, I'll say bye for now.